Hey, I am Laura Daniel, and welcome to Laura Loves New York. I have a very multi-talented woman with me today. This is Stacy Beckly. She is an actress, singer, kickbox trainer.
Stacy is also an infectious disease nurse, and she's been very busy during the pandemic. And she is the star of the new film on Amazon called A Killer Rising.
Hey! Hi!
I'm so excited about this feature film. So I play the star Casey Rona. She is an FBI agent. She has a very troubled past.
You're an FBI profiler with a high-level clearance.
Was it worth it?
With what?
You got demoted for faking her psyche valve to get her a badge.
They never proved any of that. And as many people as she saved over the years, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
She's chasing this serial killer, which really causes her to unleash her own demons.
You don't see the world like other people.
Aren't you tired of catching killers and praying they get convicted for something you know they did?
It puts her like on this crash course between the killer and her own FBI team.
I'd rather put the needle in my own arm than deny what I am. A divine instrument of vengeance.
You've ruined this journey of life for yourself. Better luck next time around.
Ooh, I think you had told me that you didn't even have to audition for it. They saw you and they wanted you for the lead.
Yes, I feel extremely fortunate for that. So the writer, he's a phenomenal writer. His name is Osbon Brown III. He used to be a cop. Now he's a writer. So the stories that he has to tell are just absolutely incredible. He found me and reached out to me about playing the lead, and it just worked out to where it all came together. The director is Michael Fredinelli, and he has like 40 films under his belt. The production company is Wild Dogs Production. Marilyn Adams is the producer. She's absolutely fantastic. It was a great cast, great crew to work with, just a really wonderful experience. And it was also something that was very quick in the sense of we filmed this feature film in like 2 months.
Wow.
And thank goodness we did, because we finished it just as the pandemic was really starting up and everything shut down.
Wow. So, speaking of the pandemic, how have you been dealing with that?
It's been a challenge. Now, actors, we normally have like lots of different jobs. So unless you're, a big name actor making millions of dollars, you got to do something else during that period of time.
Right. You have to wear a lot of hats.
A lot of hats. And so that's why I have a job as a kickboxing coach. I'm extremely athletic. I love to lift weights. I love to mountain bike, to road bike.
And then one of your other support jobs is working as an infection nurse, an infection control nurse.
Or an infection preventionist. So my job is to really help to keep the COVID-19 out of the facility, and then once it's in the facility, to keep it contained. So it's a very interesting job. I work closely with the recommendations from the CDC and the county and the state.
Now, how did you get into nursing?
So I have a bachelor's in biology, a bachelor's in nursing, and a master's in nursing. And I know, I just kept going to school. I didn't want to stop. It was so fun. So I work with the elderly.
Gotcha. Long-term care facility.
Which I love. I was so close with my grandparents. So I love working with the elderly. It makes me so happy.
In fact, Stacy named her production company after her grandmother, Adelia Beck.
I always think that in this culture, we really need to appreciate the elderly more. And I'm always glad to hear of people who've had great relationships with their grandparents. Now, this might be a crazy question, but I know, especially in California, I know some people have been very resistant to masks. Can you please tell us why it's important to wear a mask?
Because when someone's wearing a mask, you're protecting the other person from what you may have. So if I'm wearing a cloth mask, then I'm protecting everyone else from COVID-19 if I have it and don't know it. Because I think they said 60%, it's a pretty high percentage of people are asymptomatic, which means they don't have any symptoms, and yet they can still spread it. That's pretty scary.
Whew, yeah.
In medical facilities and where I work, we wear a different type of mask, which is an N95 or a KN95 mask, and that protects not only us from giving it to someone else, but someone else giving it to us. Because if I'm wearing just a cloth mask and I'm with 5 people and 3 of those people are wearing masks, but there's other people in the group that aren't wearing masks, then those other people are still going to be passing those germs onto us. Do you see what I mean? Because the masks are porous and it's still going to be coming in. That's why they have the at least 6 feet away, because they determine that the droplets can go at least 6 feet. There's a problem with it being indoors because of the poor circulation. And then if you've got fans, it could be circulating through the fans, it could be circulating through the vents. I mean, there's just so much we don't know and so much we're learning. It's really scary. And they used to think it's all respiratory. Now they're realizing it's not just respiratory, but it also causes blood clots, micro blood clots. And they're starting to see there's long-term effects of this. Right. So people that came down with COVID-19 3 months ago, some of those people are dying now from it. Or, when they do die, they're doing autopsy and finding out that they have lungs of someone who smoked for 50 years. Because the virus just wreaked havoc on the lungs, or, it causes kidney problems 3 or 4 months later. There's people that, are still excessively tired and had it 5 months ago. So it's not something that you want to take a chance with getting. It's just not worth it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it, because there still are a lot of people who are so resistant to accepting the information. And this all comes from a place of, listen, we care about each other as human beings. How can we help each other?
And of course, Stacy highly recommends getting vaccinated.
The thing I love about what you do is that you balance both science and art.
Years and years ago, I wanted to do acting, and I was kind of met with, is this what you really are going to do with your life? And so I kind of, because I wanted to go to New York. I wanted to be in New York, New York City. And so I kind of was like, oh, okay, maybe the right thing to do is to do something else. And so I love helping people. I'm extremely compassionate. My overall goal in life is to inspire people. And so I went into nursing. But it wasn't until I had the open heart surgery that I thought my life literally flashed before my eyes.
Open heart surgery? What? Yep, Stacy is a big speaker about heart attack prevention, so I had to hear her story.
And I used to run a lot, and I had always experienced chest pain, and I just kind of was told that was normal when I would go in and get it checked out. Doctors would just say, it's okay, you're young, you're healthy, there's nothing wrong.
How old were you when you were sort of tracking this chest pain?
I'd had it like my whole life. Wow. And I had, and I've worked in healthcare for, pretty much my entire life. So I was around it, I was around doctors, and, people would say, oh, you're a woman, oh, it's anxiety, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. And your body, so I always just kind of felt that something was not right. Well, it wasn't until years later when I was running, and I was running like 24 miles a week to burn off stress, because I had a very stressful job working as a nurse practitioner, and I was running half marathons, and I started to get really sick, and I started to not be able to breathe well when I was walking. And at that point I knew something was terribly wrong. The chest pain I was having, I knew I needed to get checked out. Well, I went up to Stanford and found out that I had something called a myocardial bridge.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's something that not a lot, but a fair amount of people actually will have. They usually don't find it until after you have died from it. So I felt incredibly blessed that they found it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Something that a lot of runners have it, and that's what they will collapse and die from when they're running races. So again, I felt very blessed that they found it, and I said, okay, well, I can't live my life like this. I'm not able to take care of my kids. I have 2 boys. I'm a single mom, and I said, I want to be able to take care of my kids. I'm extremely active. I want to live the highest quality, best life I can live. So let's fix it. So in 2015, I had open heart surgery. Wow. I thought my life literally flashed before my eyes going into that surgery. And I said, if I make it through and I don't have any complications, in the sense of I can live my life fully as full as I can, that I'm going to go after all the dreams I have been too scared previously to go after.
Wow.
And after I healed, that's exactly what I did. And I've been doing that every single day since.
Oh my gosh, that is wow, that is very inspiring.
And Stacy has been making her dreams come true as a leading lady on stage and in films in
I
California.
know that when you and I had talked before this interview, you had mentioned how much you loved New York.
I love New York. My heart is in New York. I grew up on the East Coast, and I always had this, I will never forget this poster I had in my room of New York City. But to me, it just simulated dreams coming true. And because I would always have my, my dad's camera set up in my room, and I would pretend I was on TV, or I would have, pretend I was, doing plays out on the stage for my neighbors. That's always what I wanted to do. And the time that I went to New York to visit one of my girlfriends, I drove all the way from Richmond, Virginia. It was like a 12-hour drive. And as I'm driving up into the city, I could see the entire city all the way, like through my windshield and both windows. And it was one of the most exciting moments of my entire life. And I loved everything about it. I still do. I go to New York and I easily gain 10 pounds, like really fast. I have to be super active in New York because the cannolis, the pizza, the bagels, and and then all the arts, the shows, like everything. It's just fabulous.
Well, I gotta say, I love it.
My number one football team are the New York Giants.
Still,
I do like the 49ers. I'm a 49ers fan. However, the Giants are my number one.
It's funny because I grew up in California and I love the 49ers.
That's too funny.
But I love New York, and I know what you mean about when you're driving up to it, that magical experience of seeing.
Magical.
It is.
It's it truly, anything can happen in New York.
So here we are, lady. We are Magic Cities. Thank you so much, Stacy. Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about Stacy, she's at the Stacy Beckly on social media, and her film A Killer Rising is on Amazon.
And we will see you out there on the internet. So bye, everybody.
Hi, thank you so much.
'Cause Laura